Hey guys, are you ready for your next video? So this week we're going to talk about the water cycle. I know that's something you covered in 3rd and 4th and 5th grade, and here we are in 6th grade. But the water cycle is very important to weather, of course, because weather is involving water. There's new words that I do want to introduce you to. One of those is transpiration. I know you've heard of condensation, precipitation, and evaporation, but we're going to focus on 3 of those. I'm going to show you some demonstrations. So let's dig a little deeper into the new vocabulary. So let's look at this diagram of the water cycle. We'll start with, here's like a little lake or river or pond, and we have evaporation. Evaporation is when water turns into a gas or vapor. That's where we get the word. So it turns into a gas, it goes up in the sky, where it collects, turns into clouds, or condensation. Condensation means when that water vapor cools, it condenses, it turns back to liquid. So gas turning back to liquid is condensation. As you know, when the clouds get too heavy, we have precipitation. Any type of water that falls from the sky is called precipitation. That could be hail, sleet, snow, freezing rain, or just regular rain. As that precipitation falls down, it goes into streams and rivers, and everything feeds into each other. And we have what's called runoff, we have groundwater, and then the cycle continues. The one thing that we don't talk about much in elementary is called transpiration. These are trees, if you can tell. Plants give off the water vapor through their leaves and stems. So when you water a plant, the roots are very important. That's what you need to water. And the water comes up through the stems and the leaves, and then it evaporates into the sky, and we call that transpiration. So I'm going to be showing you some examples of transpiration, condensation, and evaporation in just a few minutes outside. These are things that maybe you can do at home. So the first demonstration is condensation. I know you've had a glass of ice water, iced tea, soda with ice, and you've noticed that when it sweats. So this is showing you that when this gets colder than the air around it, whatever water vapor is in the air, what we learned about last week, water vapor, that will turn back to liquid on the outside of your glass. Okay, so I'm going to set this here while condensation takes place. In my little dish here, I have some water, and this is going to evaporate. It will disappear eventually, and that shows that it turns into a gas. Now for the next demonstration, I'm going to show you transpiration. So as you can see, I have this bag tied onto a branch of this tree. After a few hours, the water will travel up through the root system, the branches, and the leaves, and collect in the bag. Now it may not collect a pool of water, but you will see water inside the bag after a few hours. So we'll check back in with this. And one more thing, I did put a bag on this little tree here, just a small bag, just to see the transpiration taking place on this tree. And here's my glass of ice water to show condensation, or water vapor turning back to liquid. If you notice on the table, you can see the rings. That's the humidity in the air that's been turned back to liquid. Because this is colder than the air around it, it's turning that water vapor back to its liquid form. You can kind of see it dripping there, but you can really tell from the ring. So there you have an example of condensation. And for evaporation, being in the sun all day, the water is gone. So after a few hours, as you can see, there is moisture on the inside of the bag, so the transpiration is taking place. That evaporation is coming through the leaves and stem and collecting in the bag. If I left it on here a lot longer, it'd start to pool in the bag. So if you look carefully at this bag, it's been several hours and it's pretty cool out, but you'll see some little water droplets. That is transpiration taking place. The water's coming through the leaves and flowers and gathering there on the bag. So there you have it, the water cycle. So I want to throw something at you. The 6th grade word for the water cycle, the hydrologic cycle. So there's going to be a question on your Google Doc that's going to ask, what's the new way to talk about the water cycle? And this is what your answer is going to be. So have a great week. Remember to do things in order. It'll make much more sense to you. And remember our new word, the hydrologic cycle.